That's what Quinn should be preaching more than anything. Set the tone this week. Pop, what's going on, man? Back at it. Bye week who? We are back like it never happened. Rested up, feeling better. We're all ready to go here for our pregame podcast. Guys, if you've been here before, thank you for returning. We are almost at 750 subscribers. So to all of you who tune in every week and check us out, thank you very much. Don't forget to stay tuned. You guys should know the drill, but for the new guys, don't forget to stay tuned for our Bada Bets. We got that coming second half of the podcast. If you're a cheater, fine. It's in the description. You can hit the timestamp. I recommend you staying around for the Commander stuff, but if you're just itching to get that bet in, go hit the timestamp. And I bet by the end of that segment, you're going to want to jump back, check out what we got to say about the game. But all the meanwhile, however long you're hanging around, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Enjoy the rest of the content. Hit that like button, please. Doesn't cost you nothing. Helps us out. Helps us bring you more content. If you want more Dom and Pop content, that's the best way to get it, is to hit that like and subscribe button.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. So, Pop, how you feeling, man? Where are the vibes at? We are headed into our week 15 game. We had 14 off. We're in week 15 now against the New Orleans Saints. I heard they're calling you to play quarterback.
Well, you know what happened last time we were big favorites.
Yeah.
Against a team that we were a lock to beat. So I'd say
your vibes are apprehensive.
It's getting real.
Yeah.
It's getting real. We're in the home stretch. It's been a great season so far. Got to take care of business versus the Saints game, without a doubt. It's we called it huge on the last pod. We like that word, huge.
Huge.
And it is. It's huge because it's, you don't want to have to go into that Eagles game in a must-win kind of situation. So you've got to take care of business against the Saints. I personally, where I want to draw the line is let's get 2 out of these next 3. Let's get to 10 with a game to spare. Let's make that Cowboys game about seeding, about maybe catching the Packers or whatever. But yeah, it's got to start with the Saints game. We've got to get this W.
Yep.
And there's some cracks starting to show in Eagles land. We can get into that at a different time, but who knows?
Yeah,
they got a tough one coming up, which stay tuned for. We are going to pick the Eagles-Steelers game.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that'll be a good game. It's going to be interesting, man. I feel the same way. I think this is a big game. I'm apprehensive about it. I think if I'm Dan Quinn right now in the locker room, as much as I'm preaching all we care about is New Orleans, on the next side of things, what I'm telling these guys is, listen, recency bias, nobody cares what we did for the last 13 weeks. What we do for the next 4 weeks is going to inform how this fan base, how the league, and how the world sees this team for the next year. It's just reality. How you finish your NFL season, the last 4 or 5 weeks of the NFL season. We've seen it go both ways. You saw it in Rivera's first year. We were terrible. Then all of a sudden you string 4 games together and you go, oh my goodness, this thing's coming together. We're 7-9 in the first year of a rebuild. We're going to change the world. Womp womp. Then the next 4 games of the last season, how did that go? Right? You realize, oh, this is a disaster. These next 4 games are going to determine how the world feels about the Washington Commanders, how the fan base feels, and how we feel about the Washington Commanders. Nobody's going to care about that week 3 game against Cincinnati after these 4 games if they don't go well. It's just the bottom line, right? So it's time. This is where you get paid. This is where football gets tough. This is where the boys get separated from the men. It's time to get it. So me personally, I know Pop, a little apprehensive, a little bit worried. Hey, big favorites. We got to take care of business. I'm fired up because this is a hell of an opportunity for the boys to take care of business, to show the league, put the league on notice, let the league know who we are. It reminds me a little bit of when Detroit finished out the season and they were 9-8 in that second year with Campbell, and they knocked off Green Bay to knock Green Bay out of the playoffs. And that game meant nothing to Detroit. They were out either way, but they put that stamp. They said, we're coming. We want you all to know we're on the way. I want these last 4 games to make that same statement and end with us in a 6 seed or better in the playoffs coming up. So I'm fired up. I can't wait. Obviously, first step is beating the doors off of the New Orleans Saints. That's the first step.
Yeah, it's got to be 100% focus on the Saints. Definitely can't get ahead of ourselves, and that's where the race is right now to, improve our seeding. And I agree. I really feel like the only team that can beat us on Sunday is us.
I agree.
So that's what we've got to guard against. And we talked so much about that mini bye and how great that would be, and now we're talking about the regular bye and how great that is. Let's hope that that we keep some of that momentum that we had going on against the Titans, and I think they will. I think they understand what's at stake, and they're going to come out strong, and they've got the lesson of that 3-game skid still fresh in their mind, right?
Yeah. Look, we laid an egg against Dallas. It's the bottom line. But it happens. I challenge you to find, across a 17-game season especially, any NFL team that hasn't laid an egg at some point. I mean, I feel like Kansas City's laid about a dozen of them, and somehow they're 12-1. But we laid an egg against Dallas. It's going to happen. It cannot happen again. We have to be in one of those positions. It's like when I was getting ready for my college auditions. I practiced and practiced and practiced and got so ready that I said, there's absolutely no way, even if I walk in there and vomit, I mess this song up. There's no way. We got to be in that type of mindset. We got to be so focused, so ready, so ahead of it that it's just absolutely impossible for us to lay an egg against New Orleans. That's the only way we can go into this game. So,
well, I mean, it's 2 professional teams, right? So, you can catch them on a really good day, but they're also missing a lot of pieces.
Yeah.
I feel confident. We're going to take care of business, but you never know until they roll the ball out there and you do it. But we should feel confident coming out of that Titans game. I prefer to use the Titans game example than the Cowboys game example, where we're trending in the right direction. I also think that all the things that we said about the health of Jaden Daniels, that's behind him. I feel like he's ready to, cook. It's homecoming for him. It's a homecoming for Marshawn Lattimore. Revenge game for Chase Young. So some interesting storylines there.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Like you said, Chase Young revenge game, Marshawn Lattimore revenge game as well. Personally, I'd be more afraid of the Marshawn Lattimore revenge game than the Chase Young revenge game, but whatever. We've seen Chase play for 4 years. We know the scouting report on that guy. And we've seen Marshawn play since he's been in the league. So, but in that note, do you think Marshawn Lattimore, I know we're just dancing around on the outline here a little bit, but do you think Marshawn Lattimore makes his debut against his former team this week, Pop? What do you think?
I think he's got to, right? I mean, obviously, if he's still hurt, he's still hurt. It doesn't appear that way. It appears that, per Dan Quinn, quote unquote, he's hitting all the markers and anticipating he's going to have a full week of practice this week. So it seemed like a very positive vibes coming out of Dan's presser. So I expect him to play and hopefully make a difference. That's the one knock we continue to hear about him, his ability to stay on the field. Yeah. Everybody says if he can get out there, he's every bit as advertised. But, hopefully that doesn't continue to be a trend with him going forward. But I think he could really make a difference in this stretch run. And I
agree.
He plays like a dog, right? He's got that mentality, that competitive edge to him. I would love to see him not only get this game against Saints under his belt, but be full go for that game against the Eagles. That would be great because that could really make a difference.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the biggest thing really tonight is got to get him on the field, in my opinion, because the addition of Marshawn Lattimore, we've highlighted it a million times. I won't go too into depth, but a cornerback like that adding to your defense can change the entire way you call the game, the entire scheme, changes everything about the game. So you've got to be ready for that. But speaking of game changers on this offense, man, how about Jaden Daniels? That is the game changer on this offense. That is the player on this offense. That is the guy that you are going to need more than anything coming down the stretch here. And PFF rates him the top rookie after 14 weeks. Can we get a round of applause? I'm going to stand up, go McAfee style here. We get a round of applause for Jaden Daniels here.
Can I give you a trivia question?
Go for it.
How many other quarterbacks rookie are in the top 15 rookies according to PFF, other than Jaden Daniels?
How about that?
So all this talk about who's the best quarterback out of that rookie class. I mean,
and all this talk about
PFF ain't perfect, but it's a pretty good resource.
And all
and they
this
don't
talk
have anybody close to JD.
And all this talk about if you had to redo the draft again tomorrow, you'd still take Fangul. You know who you'd take. Come on.
Everybody knows who they take.
You know who you'd take.
Yeah.
Not that I care, because you know what? The 31 of you, you'll never have them. You'll never have them. Anyways, he rates number one, top rookie after 14 weeks. Phenomenal, coming in with a grade of 87.9. Now, PFF, all over the place sometimes, but we'll celebrate them when they take care of us. I like that. He just beat Brock Bowers, 86.2, and San Francisco 49ers guard Dominic Pooney. He's welcome at the Sunday dinner table.
Absolutely.
Anytime, I tell you that much. 85.2 grade. What a miss not bringing that guy in here. I mean, come on. Can you imagine Allegretti mentoring Pooney? That would have been beautiful, but exactly what you need. And Jared Verse is in that top five as well as New York Giants cornerback Andrew Phillips, who I'm sure he's a good player, but he plays for the Giants, so I've never heard of him until today. But Jared Verse has been tearing it up. That's a guy I would have loved to get here, but he is so good. No other quarterbacks listed in the top 15, obviously, as we highlighted earlier. Got to give the boy Jaden Daniels just the ultimate shout out. Just an absolute dog. So glad we got him on the program. Love everything that he's been doing with the toy drive at San Bernardino. He did that. That's how Jaden Daniels spent his bye week, was going back to San Bernardino and giving toys to kids in his neighborhood and running the toy drive. And I love the video of that toy drive is so cool. You could see he's like smiling and having a blast, and he's, asking kids, oh, you want the PlayStation or the Xbox version of the game or whatever. It's great, man. And you could tell just his mom commented on one of them and said, you always said if you made it, this is what you were going to do. And now you get to do it. You're living your dream. And it just makes me think, like, how many young men, I mean, I wasn't dreaming about setting up a toy drive in Clarksville when I was, 23, 22. If I got rich, I was dreaming about a boat and, a Range Rover and whatever normal 22-year-olds dream about. But it's so cool that
there's definitely room for both, right, with Jaden Daniels. But now it's great to see. And he was at the hospital, I guess it was today.
Yeah, dressed up like Santa Claus.
Yeah, with the Children's Hospital. So, yeah, he's a phenomenal young man. And I think, for us to make a difference and make a big run these last 4 games, we're going to need him at his best. And there's no 100%. Reason, barring injury, and hopefully all these good deeds and our prayers will be answered, that he stays healthy through the end of it. And I think as long as he does, he's going to cook. And the schedule's favorable for that, for sure. As you'll get into with your scouting report, not the best defense in the league he'll be going up against.
No, and I think
pretty friendly confines. So
agreed, and I think the time of the year is favorable for that as well, because I think now all the talk of we're helping the rookie along and we're limiting the playbook and every week we're opening it up slow, all that's got to be gone. It's got to be out the window.
For sure.
It should have been out the window 6 weeks ago, but it really has to be out the window now. At this point, there is nothing. Every single week you got to play like it's your last game. Essentially, every single week's a playoff game at this point, with the way the seeding and the Rams are on our heels and stuff. You've got to keep going. So it's time to turn them loose. And I think there's no better way to transition into that scouting report than saying it's time to turn Jaden Daniels loose. So for our scouting report this week, Pop has provided some offensive and defensive stats. We'll start with those. The 30th ranked defense at 680 and a half yards per game. 380, excuse me. Wow, 600 would be just 380.5 yards per game, only 22.5 points per game. So a little bit of that bend don't break. Maybe that doesn't play particularly great into some of the red zone woes we've had. I think that's kind of accidental. I think that's a result of teams getting up on New Orleans early and then running the ball in the second half and just kind of phoning it in. Because New Orleans has been a doormat. They just have been. They've been hard to say that they haven't been the worst team in the NFL. I mean, they got off to that kind of random 2-0 start. And since then, they're like, 1-9-1 or something like that. Just terrible. I can't name a Cam Hayward, I think, plays on their defense still. And Cam
they're
Hayward
5-8, so I think they've done a little bit better recently, right? They've won 3 games.
Oh, okay.
They're on a little bit of a spurt where they've won 3 games. So
there you go. So there's me. I'm a content.
See, they beat the Giants and the Browns and the Falcons. All in the last
lower class NFL.
Yeah, 3. So they've won 3 out of 4.
Yeah. Okay. So 3 out of 4 since they brought in the interim coach. They did fire Dennis Allen, I think like 6 weeks into the season, 5 weeks into the season, pretty early. And interim coach Darren Rizzi has taken over. They've got some fight. I mean, they lost their best player on defense. Offensively so far, 14th ranked offense in the NFL at 341.5 yards per game, averaging 22.3 points per game, 17th. Offensively, they've got some weapons. I think Olave's done for the year right now, but Rashid Shaheed can get behind the secondary in a pretty dangerous way. Offensively as well, they have Alvin Kamara, who's just somebody that you have to keep an eye out for. Past that, who's going to throw him the football? That's an issue. Derek Carr went down hurt last week, and right now you've got Jake Haener and Spencer Rattler in a competition for who's going to start this week. I think it's pretty clear that Derek Carr is not going to start. I'd be very surprised if he did because they just signed Ben DiNucci. You guys remember
it is his left hand, but I don't, I would agree. It's probably seems doubtful. Somebody called into the Junkies who's actually a Saints fan. I think it was the Junkies this morning, and talked about how Rattler has actually looked as good as Derek Carr when he's been in there. So it may not, you never know with these backup quarterbacks.
I don't agree. I've seen Spencer Rattler play, and I'm not a Saints fan, so I don't quite agree. I don't think Derek Carr's good.
I'm trying to Joe Gibbs this thing, man. I'm trying to build up the Saints so the boys and the fans don't overlook them.
I mean, look, they all stink. Like, I don't think Carr's a great quarterback. I don't think Rattler's a great quarterback. I don't think Rattler being better than Carr is some big achievement. Like, congratulations, you've entered the top 30 NFL quarterbacks.
Sometimes the backups get in there and they give you a little spark, but can they sustain it?
Don't we know with the Taylor Heineke experiment, the backups get in there, the locker room likes them because they're kind of the funny guys that just hang around, right? And you simplify the offense way down. Everybody's fighting for their guy. You've seen it happen. It's happened to us. I mean, we lost to Cooper Rush 2 weeks ago. So you have to be ready. But overall, from a scouting report perspective, if you guys are wondering what to be worried about, I'm not worried about too much, honestly. And I don't think, I don't know. Like I said, Pop, I think we're playing against ourselves. Like you said earlier, I think as long as we don't go out there and lay an egg, we close this one. And we know this team can lay an egg. They're capable of laying eggs, but the overwhelming odds favorite us finishing this one on top, I think.
Would agree with that.
So let's get into it. 3 keys to a win in New Orleans. And I think before even we get into this, I will say this is an opportunity for us to set the tone. How these next 4 weeks are going to go. How this playoff run can go. And I think that's what Quinn should be preaching more than anything. Set the tone this week. Don't just go out there and beat them. Hang 40 on them. We can do it. I want to see 40. Let's do it again. And in order
Just
to get
the
40,
dub.
that's going to be number 1, lean on Jaden Daniels, number 5, and number 17. Let Jaden continue to turn it loose with his arms and legs and get the ball down the field to number 17, Mr. Terry McLaurin. I saw a post earlier this week that said something along the lines of, I think CeeDee Lamb joins. Let me pull this up real quick. I got it right here. So CeeDee Lamb has crossed 1,000 yards on Monday night and joins Mike Evans, Randy Moss, AJ Green, and Justin Jefferson as the only wide receiver in NFL history to have 1,000+ scrimmage yards in each of their first 5 seasons. And to that I commented, give Terry a few weeks. So let's get Terry cooking. He's going to join that list, get that ball down the field to number 17. Let's make it happen. In order to do that, we're going to need number 2. We're going to need to dominate on the ground. The Saints give up 134 yards per game. They are 25th on the ground. Let's dominate on the ground, set up that play action, set up that pass game, that downfield pass game that opens up so much when we are running the ball well. We expect a fully healthy Brian Robinson after that week off and the way he played the week before that, setting career highs. So I think it's time, man. Turn B-Rob loose, dominate on the ground. I don't think Eckler is expected to play.
No, he's on injured reserve.
Yeah, that's right.
First possibility of him coming back is going to be week 17, I believe.
I don't think you see 30 again this year, but with what we've seen from Chris Rodriguez and Robinson, I think you feel pretty good about that tandem. And McNichols has, of course, shined as well. And don't forget, the best rusher on the team, number 5, Jaden Daniels. He's got to get it done on the ground. And number 3 is going to be to dominate on defense. So you got to pressure the Saints quarterback, whoever it is. It's going to be a bad one. Got to pressure them, force mistakes. They will make mistakes, and you cannot let Alvin Kamara beat you. I love this note from Pop. I think if you stop the run and you stop the quick game, Bobby Wagner, almost like the way you would have a quarterback spy, just let Bobby Wagner be like an Alvin Kamara spy. You know, just keep him around there.
I like what we've been seeing out of the defense, right? I agree. I feel like they've been turning it up. I really think they've had some really good performance. I think they played the Eagles really well. I think, they weren't the problem for the most part against the Cowboys, although you like to see them sustain. It's tough to do. And, you can't complain about what we saw versus the Titans for the most part. So I've got pretty good confidence defense is going to ball. I do.
Yeah. I hope so. So,
and by the way, Terry might get that 1,000 this week. All he needs is 104 yards. That can happen.
Yep. It's about time. And that's a pretty, that's a pretty great list to join that he's going to be joining there. And I think if you look at the wide receivers from this generation that are on that list, CeeDee Lamb gets that type of love. Justin Jefferson gets that type of love. Terry don't get that type of love. And it's disrespectful. And I think finally we're seeing, now that he's having that star quarterback, he's starting to get that type of love, and he deserves it going forward, because that is a heck of an accomplishment, being able to count on 2 hands the amount of guys who have ever done it in the NFL, all the great receivers we've ever seen. So let's make it happen. I would love to see him get there on Sunday. And if not, you're pretty certain it'll get done by the end of this year. But in 60 seconds, Pop, we got to bring back the people segment real fast before we get on to the Bada Bets. And then in the Bada Bets, of course, we are going to call this Commanders-Saints game. Commanders are 7-point favorites, just looking ahead. We'll see how the boys feel about that when we get there. But real quick, people segment, K-Cots of the week. Will Bill Belichick become the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels? What is going on?
It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's a possibility. There's been conflicting reports, or some people jumped the gun and reported that it was a done deal today. You're hearing different things tonight. Maybe by the time this goes live, there'll be more certainty around that. I thought he would be in line. I mean, you've got the Jets job, the Giants job. There's others out there that I would think that his name would be tied to, because he's had some association with those teams in the past. So I really felt like he'd be back in the NFL next year. But then again, he's up there. He's in his 70s, maybe getting on a college campus in a nice part of the country is something he's wanting to do. and it would
I
be
don't
pretty
know.
wild. It'd be pretty
It's
wild. Came out of
and
left field. His dad did. His dad did coach for North Carolina, and he's got some sentimental reasons to want to be there, I guess.
I saw some reports about that's a great point about his dad. I saw some reports about how he's requesting, and who knows if this is true or not, these are just rumors, but he's requesting that his son be named the successor
I
to
heard that.
him, or a guarantee. Um, so I don't know exactly what that's about, but I just find it so strange, man. I mean, you see Saban retiring because of the NIL stuff, and it's just such a wild west in college football right now and college sports in general. It's so bizarre to me that, I mean, you said he's getting up there. Maybe he wants a chiller retirement gig, but I don't think being a college coach at this point is a chill retirement gig compared to the NFL.
It's very complex because you can't lock anybody up. They can
Yeah,
transfer anytime they want. Um, maybe those rules will change, but they're not there yet. There's talk of a salary cap type structure in college football, and that
yeah,
essentially taking away the whole kind of NIL thing, or maybe keeping NIL, but also having schools pay players. But who knows? It's evolving and it's changing. I mean, I want to keep this quick, but they had Gronk and Brady and the receiver. I know I was going to do that, but
Edelman.
anyway, yeah, one of those receivers, Edelman, I think it was. All together, I think it was on Fox, and they just basically said they didn't see any way for it to work. They were laughing about Belichick being a college coach. So we'll see. It's pretty
Yep,
crazy.
yep, exactly. It's just so bizarre to me, man. It's so bizarre.
Yeah,
Maybe this is just
yeah,
a leverage play for NFL. Who knows? I don't know.
yeah.
Crazier things have happened. We live in an upside down world nowadays. But regardless, let's get into it. Let's get back to the NFL. Let's get back to where we're comfortable. The boys are treading water when we're talking college football. This is a University of Maryland household. This is a college basketball program first. This is not a college football program here. We don't pretend to be.
Go
But
Terps.
what we are, go Terps. What we are is a NFL football program, because I am 40 and 33 on the year making picks. So I'm kind of getting this program across the finish line, keeping our record above 500 here. I was 2-3 last week, so stumbled a little bit after my 5-0 week, but we'll take it. Pop 1-4 last week and 36 for 37 on the year. This is our Bada Bets. Guys, welcome back to the Bada Bets.
Don't call it a comeback.
segment.
I'm coming. I'm coming for you.
Hey,
finish strong.
if it makes you feel any better, what you could argue the more skill-based game, fantasy football, I lost 7 straight, lost out, missed the playoffs, and Pop turned the program around, became the number 1 seed. So congratulations to Pop. I wanted to wait until the Bada Bets to give him a little golf clap here. Pop deserves it. Congratulations.
Staying focused. We got our bye week this week. Gotta stay focused.
Yep.
Take it one game at a time.
In my 2 other leagues, I'm 10-4 and 9-5. So I'm headed into the playoffs with a 2 and a 3 seed in those 2 leagues. So at least feeling pretty good about that. But yeah, the family league was a disaster this year. Anyways, we just lost the locker room is the bottom line. Very Zach Taylor-like performance. Let's get into this Bada Bets. A few of these games are very important for the playoff standings in the NFC, which of course applies to the Commanders. So we'll shout those out as they go. We are 7-point favorites in New Orleans. So you'd figure that would be about a 10-point spread at home. What do you like there, Pop?
I was going to do the bit. I picked the Titans the last time around. I was going to do the bit of, maybe doing that hedge bet. But I do believe the Commanders are going to win by 7. I'm nervous about it. I'm going to say that. I'm not going to say it with a load of confidence. But I think at the end of the day, they're going to take care of business. And I'll pick the Commanders.
Agreed. I think the Commanders cover. I'm going to pick the Commanders here as well. Though, I'm not complaining if we win by 1.
I don't care. Just get the win. Damn it.
Me neither. Thursday Night Football, Rams at 49ers. 49ers, 2.5-point favorites in that one. What do you like, Pop?
49ers they're just so hard this year to figure out. It's a big game for them at home. Yep. They want to turn their season around and have a shot. Taking out the Rams would be big. But I just feel like the Rams are getting hot at the right time for them, maybe wrong time for us. I'm going to go Rams on this one.
Yeah, I'm going
I
to take
think they're
the
the better
Rams.
team right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's any debate in that. I think the Rams are the better team as well. I'm taking the Rams here right now over the 49ers as well. I think the 49ers are just lost right now. Bills at Lions. Lions, 2.5-point favorites. What do you like there, Pop?
I'm going to ride with the Lions. I mean, it'd be crazy for the Bills to drop 2 straight after they just seem like potentially the best team in football, but I'm going to continue to ride with the Lions. Both teams give up a lot of points. Both teams score a lot of points. That should be a great game to watch. But
Yeah.
I'll stick with the Lions. I'll keep riding with them.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Lions there as well. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm going to be we'll be watching that one together. That's going to be awesome.
Yes, sir.
Just realizing that, man, that's going to be, woo, this is good. Oh, my goodness. And we have Steelers at Eagles. Eagles are 5-point favorites in that game. We might have to get a little 2TV action going for this. That's going to be
Can
a
we
great
log
game
into your
My Sunday
account?
ticket? Yeah, let's get it
There you
going,
go.
man. Oh, yeah, we'll get into the Sunday
Get the
ticket.
quad box going.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Steelers at Eagles. Eagles 5-point favorites in this one. I will take let me get the Steelers.
I'm going to go Steelers, too. I just feel like, the Eagles acted like they lost that Panthers game. And, there are a lot of,
They should have.
dissension happening in the locker room. I just feel like there's fragility there with that team. I mean, they've got a big lead. I'd love to see the Steelers get this one and us to inch one game closer and get a little pucker factor going with the Eagles in that game against us at home. That'd be a great result. But I think getting 5 points, I don't see these teams being separated by 5 points. So I'll take Steelers in the points. I think it's going to be a close, intense battle.
I would love for that Eagles situation to start crumbling, but not really crumble until the last couple games, and then we get to go up in Philly and smack them in the mouth.
I mean,
while they're coming apart, deliver the death blow.
Sorry, I cut you off.
You're good.
If you could contain Saquon, right, which is a big if, but the Steelers got a great defense. You saw what they did against us in our running game.
Run the ball at all.
I mean, Hurts does not look great at times. So, and I think that's it fell apart, in the last 6-7 minutes of the game. But you look at how we played them. That's what we did. We pretty much contained the run, tried to let Jalen Hurts beat you, and he couldn't do it up to that point. So, I don't know. I like how this one sets up for the Steelers. I honestly do. It's not just a wish that now the Eagles turn it on, you never know, but I go Steelers.
Yeah, I'm going Steelers here as well. And then Monday Night Football, Bears at Vikings. Vikings 7-point favorites. Bears
Sunday Night Football.
Excuse me, I skipped over Sunday Night Football. You're right. Packers 3-point favorites at the Seahawks. Give me the Pack Attack here.
Yeah, I really want the Seahawks to win this game.
Be a good one.
They really smacked the Cardinals, looked really good. I feel like they're playing some good ball. I thought about this one. I feel like I made some dumb picks. I'm going to go Packers. I feel like the Packers are the better team, and I feel like they kind of showed it in their last game, even though it ended up being a loss against the Lions.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a game between those two teams, so I'm going to go Packers as well.
Yep, I agree. The Seahawks are quietly 8-5. They're
good team.
Same record as us. Solid team. Mike McDonald, I feel like not really getting enough flowers for what he's done there. Big shoes to fill with Pete Carroll. And it's a tough place to play. But I've been on this program saying how much I believe in Green Bay this year. I really like Green Bay.
And there's
taking them.
If we're talking Commanders scenarios, there's a scenario where if the Seahawks lose that game and then drop the game against the Rams, they could start to slide a little bit. And that's another way for us to kind of lock up that 7 seed. But I still say, let's not be cowards about this. Got to choose my words carefully. let's not be cowards about this. Let's go after that 6 seed. So I'd still rather see the Seahawks win this one.
Of
But
course.
either way, you could spin it into an okay result for our boys.
Yeah, at 8-5, you don't want to back your way into the playoffs. You want to be focused on catching the next guy,
Absolutely
not falling behind.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm going Packers here, although I would like to see the Seahawks win. Monday Night
Another
Football,
good game.
Bears at Vikings. Blech.
Should we say it together?
1, 2, 3.
Vikings.
Yeah. Bears stink. The best situation in history for a rookie quarterback. How'd that pan out? Bears stink.
They're bad, and I think it's a situation where you don't want to put your rookie quarterback in a position to start pressing. Yeah, and that's what he's doing. And it's been some inconsistency there. I'll give him credit. There's been flashes of really good play. But what about the redheaded wonder, Sam Darnold, spanking Kirk Cousins?
Yeah,
in that last game.
I think
what do you have, like 5 touchdowns?
Yeah. Sam was hooping.
Are they going to extend him?
I mean, they got JJ. What a mess. They got JJ McCarthy right there. Darnold was supposed to be your, keep it competitive in a rebuild year guy, not your, 11-2.
Got to keep him around, I think. I don't know what the market's going to be for the boy, but they got to try to keep him around.
I don't know. What's the market for McCarthy? Do you trade McCarthy? Who knows, man? It's going to be interesting. We got a whole offseason to speculate.
I mean, if you can bring Darnold back, let him just get healthy,
But Darnold's only 28.
Yeah, well, better to have 2 good quarterbacks than none.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, Atlanta thought they had 2 good quarterbacks, and I think Atlanta has 0 right now. So who knows? There might be a Michael Penix.
Seen the other guy.
There might be a Michael Penix dialogue in that Falcons preview in a couple weeks. But let's wrap this. I hope not either, the way Kirk's been playing. Let's wrap this thing up, man. It's getting wild. There's Kirk Cousins talk, JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix. I mean, what the hell's going on here? Let's wrap this thing up before it gets too crazy. This has been a fun one. Guys, the boys are juiced up. Enjoy what might be your last, I think will be your last remote podcast of 2024. And let's wrap this thing up. Without further ado, I've been Dom.
This is Pop.
And thank you all for another great week. We will see you Monday for your Saints post-game in-person live podcast. Don't forget about that. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's wrap this thing up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm all miscombobulated. I kept talking. But guys, hail to the Commanders.
Just love me,